Imagine inventing something to save lives, only for it to become the most feared symbol of death in history. Now imagine that machine carries your name. This is the story of Joseph-Ignace Guillotin, a man of peace, a doctor who hated pain, and a victim of the cruelest irony in the French Revolution. He didn't invent the national razor to kill, he invented it to be kind. But history has a wicked sense of humor. It's 1789, Paris is a powder keg. If you were a criminal back then, your death depended on your bank account. The rich were beheaded with a sharp sword, quick, clean, noble. The poor, they faced a gruesome lottery of state-sanctioned torture. They were hanged, slowly strangled by the rope. They were broken on the wheel, their limbs shattered one by one with an iron bar, or they were burned alive at the stake. These weren't swift deaths. They were public spectacles of agony designed to terrify the masses. And Dr. Guillotin, a man whose profession was dedicated to easing suffering, found this barbarity intolerable. He stood before the revolutionary government and made a radical proposal: equality in death. Guillotin wanted a machine that was painless as a breath of air. He didn't actually build it. That was a surgeon named Antoine Louis, but Guillotin was the one who lobbied for it. He famously told the assembly, "With my machine, I strike off your head in the twinkling of an eye, and you never feel it." The crowd laughed. They thought he was joking. But the revolution wasn't a joke. Soon, the Louisette was built, tested on sheep and cadavers, and ready for its debut. But the public didn't call it the Louisette. They called it the Guillotine. Then came Robespierre. Then came the Terror. The machine Dr. Guillotin designed to make execution humane became a conveyor belt for slaughter. 17,000 heads rolled in just 1 year. The blade rose and fell in a relentless, terrifying rhythm. The Place de la Révolution became a permanent theater of death, where vendors sold programs listing the days condemned, and crowds jeered as the Red Widow claimed her victims. Guillotin, the man of medicine, watched in abject horror as his name became synonymous with this nightmare of steel and wood. He tried to distance himself. He begged the government to stop using his name. They refused. There's a famous legend that Guillotin was executed by his own machine. It's a lie. A man named J.M.V. Guillotin was executed, leading to a massive historical mix-up. The real Dr. Guillotin was actually imprisoned during the Terror, narrowly escaping the blade himself. He lived until 1814, dying of natural causes at the age of 75. But in a way, he did die. His reputation was gone. The name Guillotin was now a curse. For his family, it was an unbearable burden. His children, haunted by a legacy they didn't create, formally petitioned the French government to change their surname, begging to be freed from the blade's shadow. The government's response was a cold no. Denied an official reprieve, the family took matters into their own hands, quietly changing their name to erase the stain of the Red Widow forever. France continued to use the guillotine for a long time. A very long time. The last execution by guillotine in France didn't happen in the 1800s, or even during the World Wars. It happened in 1977 in Marseille. The condemned man was Hamida Jandoubi. This occurred the same year the first Star Wars movie premiered. A startling collision of the archaic and the modern. Guillotin's dream of a painless death outlived him by nearly 2 centuries, but his name remains shackled to the very violence he tried to end. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Joseph-Ignace Guillotin wanted mercy. Instead, he gave the world a masterpiece of efficient murder. He wanted to be remembered as a healer. History remembered him as a butcher. Is it fair to blame an inventor for how their invention is used? Or should the guillotine have been called the Robespierre? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love seeing your takes on historical ethics. If you want more stories of unintended consequences and historical irony, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. We're just getting started.